Sony ran a State of Play livestream yesterday that promised a bunch of new games coming to the PS5 system. You may well be disappointed to know that in the 30-minute stream, out of all 10 games shown, only one was actually new. I'm going to quickly whip through all the games in the stream, but links to each of the individual trailers and the full stream itself are in the description. Firstly, the show opened with Crash 4, which is coming to the new generation of consoles. It arrives on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X/S, and Nintendo Switch on March 12th. On PS5, the game will make full use of the system's new features such as improved graphics and performance, activity cards to track progress, and the DualSense's adaptive triggers. The controller's haptic feedback seems to be offering a little something extra.
Really feel the suck when you vacuum his dingo dial.
After that X-rated version of Crash, we got some more footage from the roguelite sci-fi shooter Returnal. The game is procedurally generated and will change each time you die on this strange alien planet in a mix of hectic and fast-paced gunplay with a mysterious and atmospheric story. The trailer even teases a first-person section at the end, which is said to be inspired by PT and delve into psychological themes. Returnal is developed by Housemarque and comes exclusively to the PS5 on the 30th of April. I'm pretty interested in this one, and it looks like a cool blend of genres, although getting a PS5 is virtually impossible, so I won't be getting it for a while. Next up was Knockout City, a dodgeball-themed multiplayer game developed by Velan Studios, which recently worked on Mario Kart Home Circuit. The game was recently revealed during last week's underwhelming Nintendo Direct stream, but this trailer made it look a bit more impressive. It actually does look pretty cool and similar to games like Rocket League, but it's being published by EA, and I think we all know what that means. But on the plus side, when it launches on May 21st, it will only be $20, so at least it's much cheaper than a full AAA game. I mean, it does look pretty cool, but I'm not sure there's that much of an audience for this thing.
Just remember the 5 Ds of dodgeball. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
Moving on, we finally got a new game announcement with a game that I believe is pronounced Sifu, but please correct me if I'm wrong. This one looks awesome. It's a hand-to-hand kung fu game made by the folks who made Absolver, developed and published by Slow Clap. If you've seen movies like The Raid or Old Boy or even Marvel's Daredevil, or basically any kung fu movie ever, this should be right up your alley. On top of the stunning art style, the game seems to have a somewhat roguelite approach, where when you are defeated, you age up from a young warrior to a wise master over many battles. This one was easily the highlight of the show for me. It's coming to PS4 and 5 at some point this year, and according to their website, it will also be on the Epic Store, so they've probably got some kind of exclusivity deal. Following that, we saw some more gameplay for Solar Ash, the 3D platformer from the makers of Hyper Light Drifter, Heart Machine. With fast-paced fluid platforming and huge boss battles reminiscent of those in Shadow of the Colossus, this is definitely one to look out for. As well as PlayStation, Solar Ash will also be coming to the Epic Games Store. You might start to sense a running theme here. After that, the narrator announced a scary game was coming, and my ears pricked up, only to be disappointed by the reveal that it was just Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. This new game is by Steelwood Studios and follows an unnamed security guard as she explores a shopping mall filled with the series' famous animatronics. This entry seems to involve more actual movement this time around, rather than being stuck in a fixed location, and gives off some Alien Isolation vibes. It's not a franchise I have any love for at all, but to be fair, this one does look much more interesting than the prior releases. After that was a franchise I'm much more excited about, as we got a new slab of gameplay for Oddworld Soulstorm. This game puts you back into the stitched lips of Abe in what the devs call 2.9D platforming. The DualSense controller's haptics will pulse in time with Abe's heartbeat, which will change depending on his stress level. Soulstorm also introduces resources and items that you can collect to use to your advantage, along with classic moves like Possession. It launches on PS4 and 5 on April the 6th, and will be available through PS Plus on PS5 in April too. Clearly, Sony's looking at Game Pass with envious eyes and trying to jump in on launching games for free on a paid subscription. I don't care, I'm not complaining, free games. Up next is one of my most anticipated titles for this year, Kena Bridge of Spirits by Ember Lab. I've been calling it Kena this whole time, but they said Kena in the trailer, so I guess I'm just an idiot. Basically, it looks like what would happen if you gave Pixar the keys to Zelda, and I am so ready for it. It was sort of semi-officially revealed that the game was coming in March, but now we have a proper release date of August 24th, 2021 for PS4, PS5, and, once again, the Epic Games Store. This trailer showed off more of the game's fairy tale setting in a mix of gameplay and cinematics. Everything about it is just so pleasing, and who could say no to those adorable little rots? After that came a trailer for Deathloop by Arcane, a first-person shooter about an assassin trapped in a time loop. I've been hyped for this one since day one, and the more I see of it, the more I just need it injected into my veins. Arcane are so good at building incredible levels and giving the player so many different ways to interact with them in a first-person environment. Your goal is to take out 8 targets while evading another assassin who's hunting you, and if you fail, you'll have to start all over again. But since it's a time loop, you should be able to memorize their routines and really exploit them to get the drop on them. The whole vibe of the game seems really cool and is inspired by 70s spy films. The music in the trailer seems very Bond-esque, but no one will ever top Snake Eater. And finally, they saved the biggest game for the very end. Final Fantasy VII Remake wait, what the f***? Why is Yuffi here? What the hell is this?
The goddamn hell is this?
Final Fantasy VII Remake launched last year and was really good, but barely scratched the surface of the full story. It added in a bunch of extra stuff to fill it out, though it only covered the first few hours of the original. The rest of the story is meant to come in a follow-up game, and now we've got this extra thing called Final Fantasy VII Integration. Beyond being an absurdly long name, this is a DLC episode that will focus on Yuffi from the Wutai Nation, which was at war with the evil Shinra Corporation for years. The thing is though, Yuffi is an optional character in the original game, who doesn't even show up until like halfway through, so I have no idea what Square Enix are doing here. Nevertheless though, the remake's gameplay is outstanding and her giant throwing star should make for some fun combat, plus she has a companion called Sonon who uses a staff, which is pretty sweet. Owners of the PS4 game will get a free upgrade to the PS5 version, and the Yuffi episode will be purchasable from the store when Intergrade launches on June 10th. The remake will also be available on PS Plus for PS4 in March, but you will not be eligible for the free upgrade. Outside of the state of play, Square Enix also announced 2 Final Fantasy mobile games, Ever Crisis and The First Soldier. Ever Crisis is coming in monthly installments in 2022, but is basically exactly what everyone wanted the remake to be originally, as it compiles all of the Final Fantasy VII universe under one umbrella with updated visuals but keeping the same style. Just put it on console and PC and you will win. It's easy money, people will lap it up. The First Soldier arrives this year and is the most obvious cash grab I've ever seen, as it repurposes the remake's assets to make a battle royale shooter. Honestly, I'm not even that mad, it's just too funny. Anyway, that's it for the recap. As I said, there's links to everything down in the description. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, Patreon, all that jazz, you know what I mean. Now, in the words of Deathloop's The Captain,
"Song's over, people, and so is Ramblin' Frank. The rest of you motherfuckers are next."